How you doing out there, folks? Yes, it's me again. This is the Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the Robot. This is part 12. In case you missed all the other ones, well, you can see this one. Because it's going to be all about harassing phone calls. Yeah, that's all I've been discussing here lately. I don't think anybody out there wants to be harassed, including me. I'm going to go back and see how this all started. Marie and I have been together over 40 years. And we combined our income and I paid the bills. Simple as that. And we're not legally married, but we live together as man and wife. Well, we seemed to get along fine. We didn't need a marriage license to stay together. We proved that. Okay, so now, through the years, we've had plenty of credit. And if something happens, and we can't keep the credit going, Our credit has been up and down, through the years. Now, the last 8 years, I've been paying our bills on time. So here we go. What happened? Marie's credit was a little bit better than mine. So we got the mail one day. I gave her a letter for her. And she said, let me look at that. And she opened it up. And it said, she was reading it, and she wasn't, not too many things excited us, now as we got older, with medical problems and all, but evidently this hit a nerve. So she looked at it and she said, Frankie. I said, what is it, Marie? She said, Merrick Bank wants to give me $600. Well, that's good. She said, but I don't understand this double the credit line. What do you have to do? I said, let me look at it. So I looked it over, It's an offer. It's not a bad offer, I don't have to give them credit for it. It made sense. I used that word, credit. Okay, so it says, if we make 7 on-time payments, and then the credit line will go from $600 to $1,200. Oh, wow. And Marie, said something that, well, only she would have thought this way. She said, well, then if we make another 7 payments, do we get another $700? I said, no, Marie. It doesn't work that way. That would be triple the credit line. I don't know. It might not be a bad idea. I don't want to give them any ideas, But just think, triple the credit line, right? We got double. It was $600, and then another 6 is $1,200, right? Just say they wanted to do it, right? They could give you $400 and say after 7 payments on time, give you another $400. That would be $800, right? Then after another 7 payments, we'll give you another $400. That would be $1,200. So with that offer, they would be getting 14 payments, but for the $1,200. So I guess you can kind of figure what I'm getting to here. I'm getting to the fact that if Merrick Bank did these offers, they could cut down on all the calls. Because if they did that triple the credit line, that'd be 14 payments. That means for over a year, chances are good that these people are going to pay for that offer. They're going to pay anyway, but to get that credit line increase. So that means for about, like I said, over a year, they would have less people being late. If they had enough people doing this offer, but again, it would cut down on the calls. Because the calls are for being late. The calls aren't just to see how you're doing. Hope you're doing well or something, No, it's not that. These calls are definitely harassing phone calls, So back to this with Marie. She wanted, I want the credit, I deserve it. I said, yeah, I know you deserve it. We both do. Because, I'm paying these bills for over 8 years on time. So that's the reason why she got that approval. Okay, so we figured out how she's going to do it. She didn't want to do it by phone. But she's afraid, the questions, she might get nervous and all. Said, okay, we're going to do it on the computer. She wanted to do it by paper, where we could fill it all in and she could sign it. I said, well, this is paperless. So I said, okay. She said, okay, the computer, because she never was much for the computer because she kept saying, Frankie, you pay more attention to the computer than me, you know, and that was one of the problems. But in this case, it didn't matter. Oh, I'm glad you had the computer. Now she was. Okay, so I set it up and we sat down there and I showed her. She said, what are we going to do here? I said, you're going to type it in. She said, well, I know how to type. I said, no problem then. I'm going to set it up and I'm going to put the cursor. You see that flashing there? Punch in your first name. I'm going to put it to the left. I'm going to do this all the way through. I'll tell you what to put in. She followed my instruction. She typed everything in. She didn't make no mistakes or nothing. Good, I could show her. That means I could show her how to work this computer. I knew that then. Okay, so we got down to authorized user. I said, what are you going to do there? Oh, that's you. She punched my name in like nothing. It's good. I was glad. I said, yeah, because we shared all our things, everything. She wanted me on it. So then it comes down, there's just writing there, stuff you're supposed to read and all. So she says, Frankie, you want to read it? Because I want to make sure, let me know. It says nothing but about the numbers that you put in there, our numbers. She said, yeah, the phone numbers. It says you have to give them permission to call you on the cell phone using an auto dialer and to leave text messages. And she says, so what? They could call me, I don't care. I said, you have to check that. As long as if I don't check it. But if you don't check it, they're going to rescind the offer. I mean, they're not going to give me the credit that I'm worthy of? I said, no, they're not going to, according to this. So she said, okay, I don't care about it. Check it. We're going to be paying anyway. You paid all the other bills. So I said, yes, okay, fine. Finished it up, and now I said, let's check it over. I checked it over with her, make sure that all the information was correct. And then I said, you hit submit at the bottom there. Okay. She said, oh, sure, right away. Now she said, well, I said, they're probably going to send an email. Let me check. I cleared the screen and I checked the email, and there it was. It says, congratulations. You have been approved for the double the credit line offer. You should receive your cards within 7 to 10 business days. Thank you for being a customer of Merrick Bank. Whatever, I don't know exactly what it said. So I showed it to Marie. She says, oh, great. I can't wait. So I figure it's going to be at least a week or so. I start going over things. I start going over things with her. I said, look, Marie, I know you haven't ordered anything recently. I know you have your heart set on some things there. It's okay. There's no problem. I mean, $600 is yours. And she said, oh, Frankie, you can use it too to pay some bills. I said, I know. It's no problem because, even if we used it all up right away, I'll just throw some money in. I'll pay more, and we still have credit to keep it going, I said, now, I'm going to order things over the phone. I know you look at your shows and there's things you want to get. It's okay, It's up to you, within reason. Do not be talked into anything that you don't want. Those people are high pressure salespeople, so don't be doing, they don't have to put up with that. And if they ask you for your personal information, your social security, date of birth, don't give that. You don't have to give that. Make sure, because you might not think about it, and all of a sudden you think you have to give it. You don't have to give it. If they start asking that, say, look, then I'm not going to order then. You don't have to give that information. The credit card's all right, because you have to in order to get the item you want. So you give the credit card number, expiration date, it's on the front, and on the back there's a security code. 3-digit, you've got to give that, because then they know you had the card. You wouldn't be able to give it if you didn't have the card, so that's all for security, so that's okay. Don't sign up for any, monthly payments or nothing like that. Just do one-time payments. I said, you understand it, Marie? She said, oh, sure, I understand all that. But, I kept telling her this, for a while. So I'm going to go over this until the cards come. So finally, it's only about a week. I knew right away when I got the mail. You could tell there's 2 cards in there. You know how it's the way it comes in the envelope. So I gave it to her. I said, Marie, you know what this is? And she says, oh, Frankie. Oh, I can't wait. I said, okay, well, open it up. She said, oh, yeah, these cards even look better, than you know, what I picked, you know, the design that I picked, you know. I know she checked the design. And it was an eagle, you know, with a flag, you know. It looked pretty good. You know, I have it here. I don't know if it's going to show up. I have both cards. Let's see. Yeah, look. There they are. See if I can show both cards. See that? Look at that. There they are. The top one is hers. And the bottom one is mine. Now you see these cards? They're identical. Same account number, expiration date, everything. You can see, and look at that design. Nice eagle with the flag. I mean, these cards I will keep as a memento, you know. But there's proof right there. So she's the card holder. I'm the authorized user. See that? Visa. Expiration June 2023. Look at that. Okay, so back to this now. And I said we have to activate these cards. So I said I'll do it. She said, "What do you know? Watch everything, Marie, so you'll know if you want to do it." So I think I got the cell phone. So when they come on, you want to activate. You know, the phone number you called is to activate the card. They tell you enter the card number, last 4 digits of the primary card, Social Security number, maybe date of birth and all that. And you enter all this information, and then they check, and plus the phone number you're using is also associated with the account. So now they capture that number, of course. Okay, so then, of course, the recording, it says, all cards associated with this account are now activated. And that's it. So I told Marie, don't worry, because if you don't activate it, they're not going to work. Because you know yourself, sending the mail, if anybody would have got those cards, they're not going to be able to use it, because they're not activated. So that's to protect us. Okay, so I said, Marie, sign the back of your card. I'll sign the back of mine. So this way, we know everything is going to be, should be fine. I went over a few more things. I said, do you understand all the things I told you? And she said, you know, she told me, she said, Frankie, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to give no personal information. Only information I'm going to give is the card number, the expiration date, and the number on the back. She remembered it. Of course she remembered it. Because she wants to use the card, and it's something she wants. You know, if it's something you want, you know yourself. She's going to remember. I said, fine, so we won't have any problem. There's one more thing. You know, we have an aide come in there a couple times a week to help Marie with things and me. So I said, you can send the aide to the store, because I know that's what you want to do. You know, to get some cosmetics and all. It's fine. You send her with the card. She slided through. She don't have to do nothing. But in case, you tell her to call you, in case it didn't go through or something happened, you know, to tell them that it's okay, you authorize her to use it. She didn't just take your card and try to use it. I didn't think that was going to happen, and it didn't, you know. I used that aide before. I used to send her to do shopping for me and all. There was no problem. She's very good. Okay, so everything seemed to be working out good now. All I got to do is make these payments, you know. Okay, so I'm making the payments and all. So I decided, you know, the first month or so, I said, let me try see if I can transfer. We have these catalog cards. You know what they are, the ones you pay by mail. You got to order from them, you know. So we each have about, I guess about 5 each. That's like 10 cards right there. Same company, but, you know, different name, different account number. So I've been paying Marie's down, you know. I'm trying to, because I know I can still order with mine. So I'm saying, let me pay these 4. I think it was 4. So I paid over the phone, those 4. They were like $20, $30, $25, you know, different amounts. So when I saw this statement from Merrick Bank, you know, a month later, I said, yeah, they're all on there. No problem. But I noticed $5 cash advance fee for each one. Well, there's one of those add-on charges, cash advance fee, $5. So I'm saying to myself, I probably should have just took one of those catalog cards, maybe for $100, and just paid it, you know, use $100 at one time, and just pay $5. But I didn't care that much about it at the time. Because, see, I think the reason why they did it, because they don't have balance transfer. And they know that they're store cards, so they know that. So they know that you're paying it. It's not like I went to the store and bought something there at that store, and then, use their credit card to pay, then there wouldn't have been a $5 cash advance fee. But they knew that wasn't so. You see how that one of the add-ons? That's one of the things I'm talking about, these fees, And Merrick Bank got in trouble for that not too long ago. For all those add-on fees, there was a class action lawsuit against them. They didn't win it. I was involved with one, not that one. I've been involved with them through the years. If you had dealt with the bank, and the bank there's a class action lawsuit, and you were a customer at that time period, you're included. You don't get much. You might get $7, $10. It all depends, But that's the reason why I say you better get a lawyer if you're getting those harassing phone calls. So back to this again. I keep paying and all. Marie's using. She's very happy. She's keeping, she's still not doing great, but a lot better for as far as her, mental state, because she's suffering from that general anxiety disorder. That's what they call it, when you go to the doctor, and medication for it. And she seems to be all right. She has, some medical problems and respiratory distress and different things. So she was doctor gave her an inhaler. He gave her some antibiotics. The inhaler worked. Antibiotics didn't seem to work, but it kept trying a different one. Some months are passing, and we're going to the doctors every month, and then all of a sudden, the 7th month, I paid the bill again. And right away I checked, as soon as they got the payment, the money went in right away. That part, they're right on time with it, I told Marie, we got the $600. Ooh, that's good. She said, well, what about how much? I said, we still have some money from the other $600. I think altogether we have about $800 now. Oh, that's good. Remember, I made 7 payments. Remember that. So they got some money back. They made money on it. Now you owe more money on your account. So it was no problem. We still kept paying. And all of a sudden, Marie starts getting sicker. I don't know what to do. I think the best thing for me, because I couldn't, take care of her here, it was getting hard for me, even with the aid coming. So I got her in the hospital. I made a lot of tests. When she went to the hospital, she started to improve. Right away with treatments and all, and the medications that they give. And also, the doctor called me and told me, Frank, she's going to have to go into a nursing home. She needs long-term care, because I don't think you can do it. You can get people to help you and all, but she needs to have that 24/7. And, for a while, to see how she reacts to it. So I said, okay, if it has to be. They asked me, do you have any nursing home you want to send it to? I said, no, not that I know of. I said, well, if I give you our zip code, give me one that's nearby. There's a lot of them. So they gave me one, and I said, yeah, okay. I don't know exactly where it was, but I knew by the address it had to be near there. It's about a mile from where we live. So I ended up walking it every day, up and back. So I didn't go every day, but I, went as much as I could. So she was there. She started out still a little bit, disoriented, because she didn't know what's going on. She sees all these people there, and different people. And I said, look, Marie, look at all the attention you're getting, huh? She liked it and all. But then, and then she had a roommate, which I was glad that she did, because she wouldn't be by herself and all. And the food wasn't bad. They roll her around there in the wheelchair to get some exercise. She had therapy in the beginning, physical therapy. Try to build her up. It was working. Everything was doing pretty good. It took about, I'd say, for 4 months, she was actually, feeling a lot better, looking better and all, talking better. And if I tell you one of the things she asked me, a couple times she did. She said, Frankie, by the way, you still paying Merrick Bank? Make sure you pay them, because I don't want my credit ruined. I said, no, don't worry about that. I'm paying all the bills. She thought maybe I was going to be, because she wasn't there and all that. I said, no. I've been buying things for you. I just didn't tell you. She said, well, tell me what you want, and I'll buy it with the card. It's your account. Well, she told me a lot of things that I brought there. Things I could get with the card, because one thing with the MasterCard Visa, you can use it anywhere. So it was no problem. I would get things before I come in there and bring it to her. No, everything was going all right. I went there like about 3 times close together, say Thursday, Saturday, Monday, and she seemed about the same, a little disoriented. But she was coughing more, I noticed. We got into the 5th month. She was coughing more, and the congestion, I could hear it in her lungs. And I told these people that work there, and they said, "Oh, we know that. We have her chart, We're giving her medication and all for that." I think part of the problem with this nursing home, they're understaffed to begin with. And they've been bring people in from agencies to work, and then they don't come back anymore. So there's no bonding with the patients there. I know that. So I notice on the weekdays it's fully staffed, and on the weekend hardly anybody's around. I'm saying to myself, I tried to go on the weekend because of that, to help Marie get through that, So finally, when I left, I went back in a few days. I thought Marie would be about the same, maybe better, because nobody called me from there. So I asked her roommate, "What happened? She's sleeping?" This was like around lunchtime. She said she's been sleeping like that a couple of days, and she doesn't want to eat. They bring the food, they take it back, she don't touch it. I said, "Well, let me see." And she asked me, "Does she sleep like that at home?" I said, "Yeah, somewhat like that, but not quite that sound. She's like in a stupor, in and out of consciousness. I don't know what happened. I was kind of upset right away when I saw that. It didn't look good, I didn't have a good feeling about it. So I tried to see. They brought the lunch and left it. And I opened it up and I said, see if I could, the bed cranks up to try to get her up. I got her up, but she couldn't even open her eyes, and she was very feeble, So I took some of this applesauce, mashed potatoes. I tried to get her to take it. She did swallow a little bit, was able to, and a few sips of water, but that was about it. She just couldn't, went right back again, right back into that sleep. It's like a sleep, but she wasn't coughing or nothing. No congestion or nothing. So I figured, well, hopefully she'll start to come around, So I tickled her feet. I used to do that at home to wake her up, so I did it, and she did respond. She said, "Stop that, Frankie." Well, she knew I was there, even though she couldn't open her eyes and see me. At least I was with her, Towards the end, I was hoping that wasn't going to be the last time, but it so happens it was. They called me at 3 o'clock in the morning and told me that Marie passed away. And I was upset and all. I didn't know what to do. I'm all by myself. No family, nothing. So, I have to go on, the best I could, First thing, what the problem was? The credit cards. All the credit cards. Well, I start trying to resolve it, I contacted them and told them what happened. But, they seemed to understand a little bit. And some of them didn't. The calls started. A lot, too. A lot of calls. I mean, I'm talking about a lot. So I didn't know what to do. I sent cease and desist letters, and it did work. Because that cease and desist letter is supposed to be for a debt collector. The creditor doesn't have to honor it, but I think sometimes they will honor it because they know they can avoid litigation, by doing that. So they know that you want them to stop, and if they don't. I did it, they stopped, and then all of a sudden, one of them started up again, because we had an account with each one of the same company, I think it was a Visa. We each had an account. So whether they were calling from mine or hers, I don't know, but I sent 2 cease and desist letters. I explained about it, couldn't pay and all what happened, but people don't have no compassion, So I looked up one of the banks, online, and this lawyer pops up. And he says on there, gave his name, he's a consumer advocate attorney. And I said, let me contact him, And as soon as I put in the information and I submitted it, he called me right away. He says, "I can help you with it, Frank. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for." And I knew from the beginning, it's going to be good. So I said, good. I told him, "What do you need?" He says, "Send me the information. I'm going to sign you up with me. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to charge you for no services. I'm not going to charge you a percentage if I get any money for you. You don't have to worry about none of that. I'll contact the banks and I'll stop the calls. So he sent me the agreement and I signed it. And then he told me what he wanted, all the calls, the phone logs I had, and then all the information, for both of us. So I sent it to him by email. And all the calls seemed to stop, and that was it for a while. And then he contacted me with some good news. He said, I got a settlement for 2 of your accounts that you have. And one of them, I had three different accounts, 3 different accounts, over 8 years now, these accounts. I'm just trying to make this as short as I can. What happened was, they were making the calls. He got them to take the 3 accounts. It's $3,000 to market paid, so I don't have to worry about no more calls, of course. Definitely no more calls. He got paid, the court costs got paid, and I got money besides. So this shows you why you need to have a lawyer. It's very important. I just wonder how many cases slipped through the cracks. The people could have done something, but they didn't do it. They just put up with it, I guess. They think they can't afford a lawyer because it's going to be more than what they owe and all that. I know when you don't think straight, having a problem. That's what I'm trying to do here, is get this information out there, hopefully to help people, to see if they can, take advantage of these lawyers that don't charge for this, Okay, everything went pretty good, but I was still paying Merrick Bank. I'm going to bring that up now. I was still paying Merrick Bank through all this because I knew I had enough as it was. In that account, I had a card with my name on it and all. So I figured, well, I could keep paying. I must have paid for a few months. And finally, once everything cleared away, no more calls or nothing, I said, well, let me see what happens and see what they're going to do. I was kind of worried about it to begin with, and I hate doing that. I said, credit's all messed up now anyway. Don't matter for Marie, she passed away. Her credit doesn't matter. And mine, well, mine's going to be messed up now, so it won't make much difference. So I decided, well, I'm going to pay it for now. Nothing happened. Then in November 2019, the phones ring. First it was I think it was the landline, then the cell phone. I said, oh, it's starting. I knew right away, because I already have phone logs. I have books, I've been using for a while. So I wrote down the calls the first day. I think it was probably 4, I don't know, something like that. And then this went on for about 2 weeks. I waited. I want to see, how much this is going to be, but it was getting to a point. I said, I just can't. I'm not going to put up with this. I have a lawyer, so since I contacted him, and everything else, as soon as he heard Merrick Bank, no problem. So he took it right away, the case. He probably would have taken it anyway, but because it was Merrick Bank, so he knows that they use those tactics. So I sent him all the information. I had the phone logs, of course. I put it through the email and all, and sent it to him. I typed it and all that, and that was it. And then the call stopped first. The cell phone, I guess you figured that out, huh? The cell phone, then the landline. So altogether it was like in about 2 weeks, actually less than 2 weeks. 19 calls on the cell phone and 43 on the landline. Over 60 calls, look at that, in less than 2 weeks. So I was relieved it all stopped, and he put in the litigation and all, and it was for the calls. As for contacting me about somebody else's account, that account is not in my name, and they can't really hold me responsible for it. So the lawsuit is in my name, so I guess that's kind of ironic, and I don't know if the lawyer even told them that Marie passed away, because I don't think it really would make any difference. They were calling for her anyway, but the phone numbers are in my name. And I must have got the calls, but how would I be able to write all the times down and all, huh, if I didn't get them? Okay, so everything was going, that's in. Then starting the new year, I think it was the 2nd of January, 2020, I get a phone call, because I get phone calls and I'm looking, on the caller ID. It comes on the TV screen. I noticed that then. Must have just started that. I know before it used to on another phone company I had, but this one, I saw Merrick Bank. I said, oh my, not again. I looked at the numbers. Yeah, one of the numbers. Just a couple calls, the next day a couple more. So I said, let it go, see if I can withstand this and see what happened. I waited like another couple of weeks. I want to at least get some calls, so if I call the lawyer, that, I'll let him know that they started again. He didn't seem too surprised. I guess he knows the unethical tactics that Merrick Bank uses, so he says, I'll reach out to them, Frank. But I waited a little bit. I'm getting, annoyed, upset. I want to get this to stop again, So they still kept calling, and finally I contacted them again. He says, Frank, we'll make them stop. I said, okay, and then the calls did stop. So in January 2020, they made over 80 calls. Can you imagine? 80 calls in less than a month. And not only that, they didn't even call on Sundays. They did in November of 2019, yeah, but not in January 2020. See how they have different setups? See it? Yeah, different setups. I noticed back in, I guess it was in 2019, yeah, I had 7 calls in one day. That's why I got to keep a phone log. I wouldn't even have noticed it at the time because I had 2 calls on the cell phone and 5 on the landline. He put that in the litigation. He puts those calls down. Not all of them, only some. Because that's part of the case, In this case, the thing is going to be, the issue is that the cardholder passed away, and they're still trying to collect that. They didn't know about it, okay, they didn't know it, but they still made the calls. So that's what counts, and I'm a recipient of those calls. And my name is on the account. So in this case, they can be held responsible because my name is on the account, but I can't be held responsible because my name is on the account. Because we have different names. And there's no way that they can come after me for it. So, whether it's $1,400 now with all the late fees and all, well, it looks like they're going to be stuck for it. I still say, if they would have contacted me, right when it became late, I would have told them what happened. And I think they probably would have decided, probably would have asked me for the death certificate, and probably wouldn't realize they can't collect it. There probably wouldn't have been no calls. But by doing it the way they have it set up, I just call when you're late. See, these calls are, designed to harass. I know that. Because yourself, if they want to call you that bad, to have to give permission. Marie gave permission because she wanted the account, and she even said it to me. I'm credit worthy. Why are they doing that? I said, because they want to call you. That's why. So what they do is they get permission, but in this case, I don't even know if that permission is valid. I don't know. I think that permission might not count because they combined it with that offer. I don't think they were supposed to do that. I think they were supposed to send that by separate cover. And say, now sign this, you're giving us permission to call you. If you don't want to, you can always, cancel it later or what. But now, if Merrick Bank has a company making those calls, a vendor as you might call it, well, then that vendor is supposed to, I think, get permission from you. Because they're the ones making the calls. So I don't know, all this stuff is going to come up. I have litigation with the lawyer, right? He's got to put it in. Now that's a case. Now what about these calls in January? Over 80 calls. Now what was that for? Retaliate against me because I put that complaint against them? If that's what it looks like. I'd like to know really why they started up again. If they didn't know Marie passed away, then it was for her, directed to her. But I doubt it because the complaint is in my name and I'm on the account. So it had to be directed to me. So I'm just using, I guess, common sense. But I don't have to worry about all that. It might be another case. He may put litigation against him for those calls in January of 2020. He may use that as leverage, and tell him, look, we had another case against you. You want to settle this one? He may be able to do that. I don't know how he wants to do it. That's up to him. It's his discretion. He knows what he's doing. He's dealt with these banks, a Merrick Bank before, so It's going to take some time, and I'll just be patient. At least I don't have to keep putting up with the calls while I'm waiting for this, the determination of this case. As far as a jury trial, when I read all the paperwork, it says the very last page, he said the plaintiff, wants a jury trial. Of course, there won't be no jury trial if they make a settlement. And I don't think they want a jury trial, because I would like to go. Probably won't even have to go. It depends where it is. It might be here where I live, because I think that's what they usually do. I don't know about that jury trial. The lawyer goes, I don't think I even have to even go, as long as you have a lawyer. So that part wouldn't be no problem either. But in a case like this, I don't know, jury. I don't think they're going to go to too many jury trials. Not with a case like this. I doubt it. So now I covered all that, but now back to these calls, because this is what all these videos I'm doing is about: harassing phone calls. You probably figure, how many times can I go over it? I can go over as many times as they can call me. If they can call me like that every day, 4 or 5 times a day, I guess I can do this every so often, these videos. So back to the calls. Now, all the calls that were made, over 60 calls in November 2019, and then over 80 calls in January of 2020. Now, in all those calls, it's all auto-dialed, no messages, and nobody's there. If I pick it up, I can't even talk to anybody, because I wonder about that. Because I think there's a law that says when they do that auto-dialer, they're supposed to answer or leave a message for you to call them back, so that the recording tells you that you could talk to a live representative. And that's not doing that with these calls. If you call one of the numbers, they're using like 6 numbers. If you call one of them numbers, it goes to the call center, and then there's a recording, and it says this call is being recorded for quality assurance, and the next representative will be with you shortly. That's what I think is supposed to do when they call you, when they're making these harassing phone calls. But they didn't do that either. So I don't know all this, if I'm wrong or right with all this. I think it's got to be proven. The whole point of all these laws is that's why you need an attorney. Because he knows the law, just like they do. And they're circumventing the law, because the law says you're not supposed to use an auto-dialer to call somebody on a cell phone. And they want to do it, if you get permission. So they get permission. Why do they get permission? If they didn't want to harass you about it, they're allowed to call about their bill. Why don't they get one of those customer care people that don't care? Why don't they get one of them? They're not doing that much. They're not making any outgoing calls at all. So why don't they let them make some calls instead? Put them to work, Because we know they can never dial as many calls in a day like the robot does, huh? That's what they call it, robocalls from robot. So that's one of the things that's a problem, is these calls. It's not a problem for them, because they got it in their system, and I don't know how they determine how many times to call you, So that's another thing. That's not specified in the laws either. They don't say, well, they're only allowed to call you twice a day or once a week. It just says they're allowed to call you to collect their bill between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. And all these calls are between that time period. I get 4 calls on a Saturday. No calls on Sunday. No calls Monday until Monday afternoon and evening. Then 4 calls. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All those calls. Now, don't you think that's harassment? If I feel I'm being harassed, then it's harassment. And if you're getting calls, and you kind of say, well, these people are really bothering me and annoying me, if they are, then it's harassment. You need a lawyer. Keep saying that, And you just don't take all those calls every day, and all of a sudden, then you call the lawyer I give you, and then he's going to tell you he needs to know how many times they called you, he needs the phone numbers they used, he needs the times they called. Now, this lawyer that I've been using, he is a super lawyer. His name is Paul Mankin, Mankin. It's a toll-free number, and it's 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. You can give him a call. Now, again, he doesn't charge for his services, and he doesn't take a percentage if he gets you any money, and there's no obligation, and the consultation is free. So if you're having any problems, especially if it's Merrick Bank, that's one of the banks that he I guess he gets the most complaints about. But any bank, you got to talk to him. It's a free consultation. He'll tell you right away if he can help you, And if he can, he will, and he'll still give you some advice, But he definitely will stop these calls. I mean, do you really want those calls every day on your cell phone, your landline? I know I don't want it. I don't like now. See, I'm doing all this. The phone's not ringing. The other day I was making one of these recordings and the phone did ring, but it was a telemarketer. I'm on the do not call registry. That's another thing to protect consumers, right? But again, it's not 100% perfect, because I got a call the other day and I saw the number and they didn't put their name. They put something else on there. Anonymous. That's on the caller ID, huh? That's allowed, huh? Anonymous. But the number, and I called back the number, and it was a recording. That's supposed to be, right? It says, we know you're on the do not call registry, but we still can call you because we're a charity. So they know that, so they still call you. So again, you see again what I'm saying about the laws? They're there to protect us. But if you don't know that, well, you're not getting protected then. You need to have a lawyer, and that's what I say. I'm glad I have this lawyer I have. He's the greatest for me. Perfect for me, what I need for this situation I'm in. I know he's helped a lot of people. He's got some big cases too. He does credit cards, and the debt collection and all that, but he does other things. Other kind of law, but I think it would be harder for him to do, landlord-tenant, something like that if you don't live around there. He's in San Diego, California. That doesn't matter. I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the East Coast. It has nothing to do with it. Because these laws apply everywhere. Look, the credit card company, Merrick Bank, they're in Utah, and I'm in Pennsylvania, so it doesn't matter. The laws still apply. So don't even worry about that, because I'm going to give all the information. When I do the description, I repeat a lot of stuff, but I decided that, the best thing is to try to get to somebody. I mean, when I put this on, when I post it, right, this video, I usually get views right away, because I know as soon as it goes on, more and more things come on afterward. So of course, I'm trying to keep it fresh, fresh in the minds of everybody about these harassing phone calls. I mean, I wouldn't have been so ticked off. I was satisfied the way it was. I had the litigation in, whether I get anything or not. But I already got something. By having a lawyer, he stopped the phone calls. I mean, they started up again, I was surprised that happened. A month and a half later, they started again. I mean, that shows you how unethical they are, That proves it to you. I mean, it wasn't satisfied. No one... Oh, look at that. There's the phone. Look at that. Talking about the phone, huh? Yeah, look at that. It says anonymous, too. I just got done saying that. It says anonymous on the screen. Now, the recording's going to pick it up. Right, watch it. Just the way I had it from Merrick Bank. Look at that.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
See, no message. See? If I'd have picked it up now, nobody's there. That's exactly what Merrick Bank was doing. But I know it's not them. I know by the number. I saw it says anonymous. I just mentioned that, too. But you can call these numbers back. Now, that's supposed to be exactly what they're doing. When you call it back, there is supposed to be a recording, and that's what they do. Look at that. Now, that's probably the charity, trying to get a donation. And if I'd have picked that up, somebody might have been there, and they might have said, Representative will be with you shortly. Stay on the line, But it just got them saying that the phone don't ring, and look at that. I'm doing the recording. This happened the other day, too. But it's not Merrick Bank. When Merrick Bank was calling, if I tried to do this, they were mostly calling around in the afternoon and evening. Look at that. Just when I'm doing this. That's good. I wanted you to hear that anyway, so you can see how I have it set up. That's the landline. And I have it. I set it up that way for a lot of reasons, because I want to make sure I don't miss a message in case I went downstairs, I went out to an appointment. I want to make sure. So, there it is. You heard it. No message. I knew that. No, they don't leave a message because the robot is dialing it. Back to the robot. So, of course, it's not programmed to do that. So, these robots have been around a long time. I know in the 1939 New York World's Fair, my mother and father worked it. And one of the exhibits was that they had a robot, a big robot. What, again? Again, anonymous. Look at that. That's unusual. That doesn't usually happen. Maybe this time they'll leave a message. I don't know. Because I'm expecting phone calls. Look at that. Let's see if I get a message here. I'll be surprised if I do.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Nope. Surprised they did that, because see, now that'll get me annoyed. If that happens again, I'm going to pick it up to see and tell off whoever it is, because I know what that call is. That's unusual for that to happen. Just when I'm doing this recording, too. Back to what I was saying about the 1939 New York World's Fair. They had a robot there. Looked about like 7 foot tall. And this guy was talking to him. His name was, I say, Robbie. Robbie, will come forward. And Robbie walk forward. Robbie turn around. Robbie this, Robbie that. That was back then, a robot. But yet a human is controlling it. Just like here with this Merrick Bank. Somebody human has to program it, a human being, and they can set it wherever they want, It's a machine, Robot, that's what it is. Machine. So that's why I use that term. Merrick Bank and the robot. And I use this invisible man gimmick. Why I use it? Because I thought it was kind of neat. Because I am invisible. You can't see me, can you? Even though I'm wearing a disguise, you can't see me. You may know by the sound of my voice who it is. Of course you do. So I'm hiding behind the disguise, right? So now, like I said, Merrick Bank is hiding behind the robot that they have. So that's why I say, I made this all up, and this is the way I wanted to get attention, because I know it's a boring subject, really. I know that, It's serious, and there's laws involved and all, I guess this Merrick Bank, really, they've been around over 20 years. And I guess because they're doing all these unethical tactics, they're able to get by, I guess. They make enough money, I'm sure of that. And then they got to pay their people. See, the money that they're not paying for the call takers to make these calls, that's the money they're saving there, So if they got to pay out some litigation, like in my case, well, it's the cost of doing business, like I said. But again, I go over this a lot, I don't want to, like I said in a few videos, I say some of the same things. Like I keep saying, Merrick Bank and all these other banks that use these tactics, they're a one-trick pony. Because that's all they do. They prove the fact of what I said. All they do is make calls to everybody that's on the late list. And that's the way they do it. Some people probably do call in, and they try to make an arrangement or tell them what happened and all. But they put these late fees on, And now, that's to make it, you owe them more. In this case, since Marie passed away, no matter how much they add on there, they're not getting it. They're not getting that money. It's uncollectible. See, right now, it's uncollectible. As soon as I stop paying, the account's still open in a sense, because they're calling for the payment. And there's litigation in it and everything. But it's uncollectible. It's a zombie debt. I've been saying that also, The zombie debt is any debt that's uncollectible, it's written off, anything like that. And these debt collectors, they're like scavengers. They look for these kind of accounts. They buy them in bundles. They get them off of court records. Whatever they do to get these accounts. And they pay pennies on the dollar, so they're going to try to collect it. I might get a call from a collector about this account a couple of years from now. Maybe. I don't know, but I know that I'm not going to make any deals. Don't make any deals with these debt collectors. Because they have a way of, they come up with all kind of things, Because they can tell you, oh, you owe $500, right? Oh, if you want to settle it, they give you options, right? Okay, we'll knock off, pay $250 and we'll call it clear. And if you want to pay like $10 a month, and then we'll make it, less again. They'll make it $250 out of $500. But then they know that you don't owe them that money. They didn't give out that money to you. They're trying to collect it. That's how they make money. It's a big business, debt collection, I'm sure. Those companies make a lot of money because they don't have much overhead. They might have a little office someplace with maybe a couple people. Low overhead, so they don't need to make too much. So that's how they do it. Oh, there's another offer. I think I mentioned this. I know I mentioned it. You get a notice from the, collection agency. I'm going to use that $500. It's a good figure, that you owe from this creditor, and, we want to make an offer to you. We're going to give you a credit card with the $500. We're going to give you another $100. So you'll have $600. You'll have $100 available, and you'll pay every month on the account. So you figure, what do I got to lose? I'm getting credit again. I'm starting my credit. It'll help me with the credit. And I'll be paying every month again. I should be able to do it. And then if I pay more, then I have more available credit. It says on there, if you pay it down, you pay off the $500, you're going to have $500 in credit. So you could use it. So you figure, I'm going to be able to use it. Why not do it? And that way they won't be calling me or nothing. But what you just did was, it might be off the already written, on the statute of limitations. It might have expired on it. You start the clock running again. But as soon as you put it on that credit card belongs to them. Now you owe them the money. You want to start that again? Because I know in Pennsylvania, I keep saying it's 4 years, the statute of limitations. It may be 3 years in some states, 5 in another state. You need to know that. So now these accounts that I paid in, that I didn't pay in 2019, they're in my name. So after less than 4 years, they're legally forgiven. So I know that nobody can collect them, So unless, I'm going to go for it, I'm not going to make no deals for them, that's for sure. So what'll happen is, if they're written off or not, it doesn't mean, they're still collectible. Okay, so the time passes, and then what happens, remember, all this stuff goes on your credit report. The only thing, the entries on your credit report, it'll last 7 years before it goes off. If you're really concerned, you should check on all that too. But you see, all this information I'm giving you, it's important that you go by it, Because, this credit, I know I don't want any more credit right now. No way. I still get offers. On the computer I do. Online, because I'm online all the time, These offers for all kind of credit, loans and everything. I'm not going to get involved with none of that. I'm getting by now the way it is, not too good, because when Marie passed away, my income got cut in half, and now I'm struggling, Try to get enough money I need to stay here right now. That's why I couldn't pay those accounts. None of them. Now, plus I'm fortunate I have to pay a lawyer, and I feel I got the best legal help there is. He specializes in these credit card companies, He specializes in that. And he's a consumer advocate too, and attorney. So you got all these things going, So it's important that anybody out there, I don't think you should be putting up with it. There is laws to protect you. If you don't know that, find out. Give him a call. I'm going to give you his name again. Paul Mankin, Mankin, toll-free number 219. No, sorry, made a mistake. I know this number so good too. It's funny that I did that. Toll-free 800-219-3577. Again, 800-219-3577. So give them a call. Got nothing to lose, everything to gain. There's no obligation, free consultation. So keep it in mind. In the description, I'm going to put all the information about everything. Whatever I'm going to put in there. I definitely put his information because I endorse him all the time in all these videos. And I'm giving these testimonials. I'm not getting paid for it. He's already paid me enough by not charging me for all his services. So I'm only too glad to do it. So I think I covered pretty much everything. But it's all about credit. Mostly everybody out there has credit, and mostly everybody out there has cell phones more than landlines. So that's why these companies know that, and they want to collect the bills that's owed to them. Okay. It's just that they don't. I don't think they have to harass you. You gave them permission to call you. They can call you on the cell phone and the landline. Within reason, I don't think it's reasonable to call you 4 or 5 times a day, 7 times a day. Why is that? I mean, is that going to make me pay? I know I can't pay. It's not going to do it. Well, am I supposed to call them and say, oh no, stop the calls. I want to make arrangement and all that. Right away, I stop. You can call them and tell them, because I did it already. You can tell them, look, the cardholder is deceased, and I'm an authorized user, and I can't pay. So you can tell them that, or you can tell them, well, I would tell them that. You can tell them that you'd rather be contacted by mail, that you don't want to be contacted by phone. And that's the way you do your business, And if they don't want to honor that, and they continue to call you, you can report it, that you did tell them to stop. But you should have it recorded, like the way I'm doing now. You could set it up, have your phone there with you, right near you, and you can make the call and record it on your smartphone or on a tablet like I'm doing here, and then you have a record of it. So if they call you after that, well, they can get in a lot of trouble for that. That's a blatant violation. So it's important to know all this. I mean, I know all these people out there. Somebody's got to be hearing this, because when I see I get views, whether they look at it, you don't listen to the whole thing, but you can listen to the video that I'm doing now, and read the description at the same time. I'll put stuff in the description similar to what I'm putting now. What I'm saying here. No, it's ironic, and I mentioned it before. I'm trying to mention as much stuff as I can, that all these calls, for owing credit, if you need money, it helps you out the credit to get things you couldn't get, and then you can always pay it back to them. But like right now, I needed some money, and I'm trying to find ways to get it. I got some rebates and all different things that I qualify for. I don't qualify for some things, because in reference to clinical trials, I tried already. I went for depression. Nope, I'm not depressed enough. Then they gave me a check for $100. So I said, okay, and they picked me up and brought me back. Fine, I'm satisfied with that. That's extra money, I tried another one for the heart, I didn't think I was going to qualify, but, I went through all the tests. The tests were really a lot. I guess they got to be careful. They're testing experimental drugs and all. So I went there and I waited about a week. I called up and they said, no, sorry, Frank, you didn't qualify. I said, what happened? They said, you're too healthy. I mean, I was too healthy for that study. I mean, it said they want healthy volunteers because, you don't have to really be. Because if you have something wrong, maybe you have a serious condition, you can get the clinical trial because it might help you. Because then you have the condition that they're doing the clinical trial for, and they can tell right away if it's helping you. So something wrong or something being healthy can get you these clinical trials. There's a lot of them. I know there's one for obesity. I am a little overweight. I'm like actually 20 pounds overweight. You know, my doctor knows that when I go there, he says, Frank, as long as you're not gaining any weight, you're staying about the same. So he's not concerned. My blood pressure's normal. And I'm, doing pretty good every month when I go there, and I'm taking my medicine. So back to these clinical trials. Okay, I went to the one, I got a check, big deal, and I didn't get it. Another one, they paid me also. They gave me, I think it was $150 for that one. But for the heart, that's another $150. So I could just keep going to them. If I don't get it, well, I still get paid. So if anybody needs any extra money, here's a way to get it without getting a credit card, just to get some money, then have to pay it back and can't do it. Now, I got a check from the one. I went to the one for the heart. They gave me a MasterCard. Can you imagine how ironic this is? I'm getting a MasterCard and the money they put on it. They uploaded it. So I have that card. If I go to them for any other clinical trials, they just keep adding money. So now finally, I did get a clinical trial. I was kind of surprised. I called up. I told them what it was. It was for knee pain. So I said, I have pain in my knees. I figured, here we go again. They're going to say I don't have enough pain. Okay, so I called it up. They told me, I'll come in right away now. So I didn't waste no time. Driver picked me up. I went there. I got all the tests and questionnaires. It took a while, blood work and everything. They checked my knees and asked me some more questions and the medicines I'm taking and all. And they said, yep, you qualify. I said, oh, good. They explained it to me. It's like, I think it's 200 days. So they gave me a smartphone. Besides, I got a smartphone, which I can use it right now, even though I think I'm supposed to give it back after the trial is over with. So I got that. And every day I keep a diary. I punch in how the pain is and all. I got all these tests. I get $100 every time I go there. So over, a period of time, it adds up. I might go 10 times. And it's nothing. Blood work, questionnaires. But then one time I went, right in the beginning, I went for a MRI. I went for other tests, X-ray and all that. And it showed that my knees are bad. I didn't think it was as bad. So I got all these tests. It didn't cost me anything either. So then I went for I got this injection in the knee. It could be a placebo. It could be some medicine. I don't know which one it is. So they don't even know. They know from the company, but not the person who's giving me the injection, So I got that. The day when I went there for that, I got $350 that day. They put it right on the card. Upload it right on the card. That was good in the beginning of this trial, because at the end, whenever it's over, I could get another one there probably. They have a lot of them. This is an outpatient one that I'm on now. But you can get inpatient because they have it there. I don't know if I'll qualify, but I can't do it until I get done with this clinical trial. I can go to other ones. If I qualify or don't, I can get paid for going. And later on I could do it or not, whatever. Plus, I could drop out of this clinical trial anytime I want. If I wanted to, now that I got that money. If I say, no, I don't want to do this anymore, no problem. Or go to another one. They have other ones there. This, like I said, this is outpatient. They have inpatient. I know there's one right there. One of the facilities they have near there. I was talking to somebody. They did it. I think it was for sleep study. You got to stay 3 weeks. And it's $300 a day. Can you imagine that? Like $6,000? So if you needed money, you don't have to do that. But if you're working, maybe you wouldn't be able to do it. Like I'm retired and also I could do it, It'd be nice. I'm thinking about it. There's another one the same way, I think one's for schizophrenia, but I don't know if I will qualify for that one. But all these studies, and I know for the flu, they always have that. Because you know how many people, even with the flu shot, how many people get the flu? And from this virus they have now, that I'm sure they haven't set up clinical trials for it yet. So I know I would probably want to do it. I'd probably do it, even though, you can get side effects too, from these things. And I feel like, what am I, a lab rat or a guinea pig? They're pretty safe though, because they check you out all the time and all. Just like the one I went for the knees. When I went there, they told me, if you get a dirty urine, you're not going to pass. You're not going to get the clinical trial. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, and they take the urine all the time when you go and all that. But I'm doing this every day, the diary. So I have one. I'm getting some money now, and it's a credit card, MasterCard, and a debit card. So I can use it anywhere I go. And I like it in the way because being a debit card, you have to punch in the PIN number. So if somebody got that card, they might not be able to use it that easy, And they keep uploading every time I go. As soon as I get it, right away the money goes on. And I've already used it towards the rent and everything here because they take credit where I'm at now. So it's helping me a lot. So again, I got a credit card, huh? Whether I couldn't pay Merrick Bank or not, I still got a credit card. That's what's so ironic about it, about this credit. I'm not going to get no calls about that card. Definitely not. Not going to get no bills. And there's no finance charges, nothing. And not even if I use it to get cash. No cash advance fee either. If you know where to go. Like if I go to a supermarket and I buy something, they're not charging me to get cash back. I mean, I might have to buy something for $5, but I'm going to buy it anyway, so what difference does it make? And I just mentioned all that now. If someone out there is having problems, you need to get a lawyer. But if you need money and you're not working, check into the clinical trials. All you have to do, go into the computer and just punch in clinical trials. They'll tell you where they're at. No, they're all over, like the one I'm on. They have it in 20 different locations, the same thing. I guess they're all connected. So, since I'm in this location, to pick you up and bring you back. Because this one I'm going to is, I'm in Philly, and this is in Jersey, and it's a pretty good ride. Sometimes you come in a van, sometimes they send you by Uber, whatever, I don't care. I get a nice ride up and a nice ride back. Yeah, and my knees have been bothering me, They were bothering me, but I'm glad I did get it checked out, And I can be looking for other ones, This where I'm going now, they have plenty of them. I talked to the one that's running this, the coordinator. She told me, you're probably going to be able to qualify. Because the reason I got this one, more or less because of the age. They want to see how that needle they gave me, how it's affecting the pain, They can only do, I guess, they only give me one knee. I wanted to see if that was the right knee, the study knee. I said, when I'm done, can I do the other one? They said, no. Well, you already did it, so you wouldn't be doing the same study over again. I said, okay, I understand. I just want to make sure. But I got to look into which one I could possibly get there. So when this one ends, I already have, the MasterCard, so they can upload it. I already have that. So I got the smartphone too. So, and this one, they give a lot. I mean, again, I mentioned all this because, again, it has something to do with credit. Of course, I wouldn't be doing this. If Marie hadn't passed away, I wouldn't be doing this. Of course not. I don't want to leave her here. Plus, I was paying the bills. I wouldn't be doing none of this. I wouldn't be doing the clinical trials. I wouldn't be doing this Merrick Bank ranting that I've been doing. I wouldn't be doing these videos. So I hope everybody can learn something from it. That's why it's just advice that I'm giving. Well, anybody out there now, you see what you can do. If you have a problem with credit, I'm showing you how you could possibly get a credit card and get paid. Do a clinical trial. And if you qualify, you'll get it. And plus, if you are working, you could probably still do it. Because to get $100 just to go to a visit to fill out some questionnaires and take a few tests, even if you was at work, you could probably take off a day for that. Probably more than what you're making at the job. So it's good to know. Maybe I help somebody out there with all this, I know I'm glad I'm doing it right now, and I'm going to continue to. Like I'm doing these videos, but I don't, I don't know how much I'm going to be doing these videos. I'm going to try to keep doing them. I take the time to do them. And, I talked to my attorney, and he says, he's not saying anything about it. I told him, if you don't want me to do this, you don't think it's a good idea to keep, ranting about Merrick Bank, I won't do it. If he tells me, I won't do it. That's how much I believe and trust in him, whatever he says, I know it takes time for all this. But the other cases I had took a few months. Let's see about this one, I don't know. Now he's working with them lawyers and all, and he's gonna keep working on it. That's to say, all this information that I'm saying here is pertinent to my case, but it also can help somebody. I guess you can say I'm a consumer advocate, because I am a consumer and I went through it and I know how it feels to put up with this. So you don't have to. Again, like I said. Okay, I think this is time. I think you had enough of it. But if you're interested in any of these videos, I put a lot of videos that's varied interest, nothing to do with this. This is something I'm doing now. I have other videos in there. You can just punch in my name, Frank Leeper, Leeper, on YouTube and search it, you'll see. They may not come up in order exactly, because sometimes they mix them in with other videos. If you look up harassing phone calls from Merrick Bank, that'll come up. Most of the ones I've been doing, in case you just want to check them out, they're all about the same. I go on different things. I go off on tangents and all, but it comes to the same thing. These are harassing phone calls, Like I said, they tick me off when they call me after it stopped and started again. That shows you the tactics that they use. So I think I'm going to bring this to an end now. And I appreciate your time. And have a great day.